Dear students, welcome to the course of History of Economic Thought. We have the course containing ideas of economists. The course will start with the knowledge area number 1. That is Introduction of History of Economic Thought. The introduction will contain what is the history of economic thought, the definition of economics, what is economic history, why are we studying history of economic thought, and the last will having a school of economic thought, that's idea of economists, and then we're having a conclusion of a knowledge area 1. The first question of this course, History of Economic Thought, is what is economic economic thought? Is a critical account of the development of economic ideas, ideas of the issues, and researching in the origin of the issues, interactions of the issues, and the results of the issues. Actual history of economic thought concerning with thinkers and theories in the field of political economy and economy, from the ancient of world right to the present. Consider the past issues and then the present issues. And then we have several ways to present history of economic thought. One is to analyze the changing of nature of economic theory in conjunction with the social and the economic development of the society and the community. And the second is to emphasize economic thinking as a part of a main currents of a philosophical and political ideas from the economists, and then to emphasize the internal dynamic of a science where a new insights and research emerge as a consequence of the economists' awareness of the shortcoming of the present state of the subjects. And then, according to a time, a history of economic thought, we need to understand what is the economics. That is the basic question students should understand. The economics is a branch of a social science which studies how a different society allocating resources among the alternative uses in order to satisfy human needs. Actually, we have a lot of human needs as a human being. For example, we need to have a school because of education. We need a road because of transportation. We need a building because of a shelter. We need a hospital because of the health. And then a creation facilities and many others after. Economic resources have inputs such as a land, a labor, a capital, which are used to produce goods and services, whereby can use to satisfy a human wants. We have, during the allocation of the resources, we having a central economics problem, a central economic problem in allocating of the resources. One is what to produce. That is a kind of a product will be produced for a human need. A second is how to produce. That is a technology will be used in a production for a goods and services. and for whom to produce. That is a goods or a commodity will be produced for a specific need or for what we'll need to consume. And then another question is about economic history. When we're talking economic history, it means we consider a past issues to a present issues. So we can define as a start of economic aspect of a society. In the past, the history of the economy uses the resources like a land, a labor, a capital, entrepreneurship, a management to examine of the past performance of economies. And this concerned with how people live most of their lives. That is one. Consider how people lived most of their life. That is the past. And then how many were born and died. That is a statistic used as an economic aspect of in that society. And then how they earn and spend. It is most important to consider a production and consumptions. How they earn in terms of production and then spend in terms of a consumption. And they work such a variance. Simply that it was a sort of listening which required a knowledge of economics. And then it is better to ask the question ourselves as we students, as we society, as we study economics. Why we are studying history of economic thought? That's the best question everyone can ask him or herself. Due to the economic process that involves in any society is a complex matrix of individuals. Actual individuals, organizations, roles, relationships, and perceptions, values, beliefs, and knowledge, and technologies. That is can be considered as a process, as a matrix complex. Yes. The following are some of reasons why it might reasonable to use time and effort getting to know the history of economic thought. One, it is existing to explore the past. As I told, when we are talking the history of economic thought, we consider about the past, read about the thinker and the theories of the past. Because a thought is the thinker of the issues, is the theories about the issues of the past. It gives a better concept of the relationship among the essences, and then helps to gain a clear understanding of the position of economics as a distinct member of a group of social sciences, that is a matrix of social sciences, ethics, jurisprudence, philosophy, sociology, and etc. And then students should be able also to understand. It's better to understand of the fact that a discipline of economics. That's why we are studying economic thought. And then the students or anyone can reflect of the root of economic theory, and the methods prevents us from the following wrong path because of the economics analysis to know the root. Whether it is a wrong path or is a right path. And it also helps to enjoy methods of research interpretation in surveying earlier attempts in a theory. And then to expose the philosophical foundation of economics of a proper understanding of a theories. As you know, economics have two branches, macroeconomics and microeconomics. Microeconomics deals with individual economics, a day-to-day transaction economics, buying and selling. But macroeconomics is aggregate economics, and the national output economics. So it is better to expose the philosophical foundation of the issues of economics in terms of a macroeconomics and a microeconomics. And then let us go to the ideas of economists. As I said, the history of economic thought is about the issues, ideas. Yes. We'll cite a few economists about the economic thought. One of the, this we'll consider as before Adam Smith. When we're talking Adam Smith, before Adam Smith, because we know exactly Adam Smith is economist, has been born in 1776. So before bonds, 1773 and 1776, whereby started criticizing about the issues and then come up with different ideas. We'll consider before Adam Smith. One of the economists is a Plato. A Plato actually born 428 BC before Christ, and then died 348 years. That is between 428 BC and 348 BC. Was a great philosopher of ancient time by then. Yes. What is the idea of the Plato as the economist, as a philosopher, a Greek philosopher? One actually cited about the economists. What is economics? He said that it's the science which deals with the satisfaction of the human wants through exchange of goods and services, seeking so to regulate the industries of the estate as to make its citizens good and health. If he believes that if you can regulate the industry of the state to be commanded by the state, will make a citizen good and happy. And so to promote the highest well-being of the society, of the whole society. And then Plato came with a theory of ideal state. Ideal state. Ideal state said that is the idea about how to build an ideal, a common world. Who should be the ruler of ideal state and how to achieve justice in ideal state. And then another issues Plato cited or coined is about a justice in a state. He coined about a justice in the state. About a justice in the state. Yes, this is a justice will be, he believes that the justice will be achieved in a state when each class fulfills their respective function. But later the theory actually of ideal state was several criticized by Aristotle. That is another thinker, yes, economist. And then Plato calling about a theory of education. A theory of education. He believed that according to Plato, education does not mean that the storing up the external knowledge, but the bringing of the soul into a proper environment for the development of the estate. Estate can regulate a crime by adapting a proper system of education. So he considered adapting a proper system of education. Yes. And then Plato gives a more importance of education than any other Greek thinker. One of the a different of other a thinker in a Greek, a Plato actually gives a more importance of education than any other in a Greek thinker. Yes. Another a thinker is Aristotle. Aristotle was also a Greek thinker who criticized about a justice in the state. Aristotle was a Greek philosopher who was a student of Plato. Was a student of Plato and a teacher of Alexander the Great, one of the great economists. Yes. So, Aristotle actually writing a lot of books. Yes. Not anyone wrote a many books after writing a cover of a subject including a physics, yes, a physics, a metaphysics, poetry, a theater, a music, logic, rhetoric, linguistics, policy, a government, ethics, biology, and zoology. Yes. He was a champion of writing many books in different subjects. Another issue about Aristotle is idea, the economic idea of developed mainly in economic ethical principles and examining its microeconomical and macroeconomics. When to examine how works the microeconomics and the macroeconomics. Yes. Actually, the Aristotle was dealing with economic security and a base for the social and a political health. Yes, and also talks on a production, factors involved in a production, the distribution of a labor in the industry or in a production, the significance of a primary and a secondary and a stage in development of economy and financial policies. Yes. And another idea, economic idea, actually today will come across is St. Thomas Aquinas. St. Thomas Aquinas. That was Italian Catholic text. Yes. And one of the most important major philosopher and a theologian a theologian. Yes, actually, his idea was exchange and the values. Issues of exchange was a significant important in a barter situation. A barter situation is an exchange of goods to goods. That was developed idea from Saint Thomas Aquinas as a pastor, a Catholic Christian. Yes, deals with a theology. Yes. So, for any introduction, we conclude in that the history of economics is an important place in a philosopher because of their constructive, yes, and positive construction for the development of the science of economics. Yes, I thank you for your attention. Thank you.